The moment I walked down that aisle in her dress, I felt like a thief in paradise. But no one knew the real reason I said I do. And if they ever found out, it would destroy everything. Weddings are supposed to be magical, joyful, unforgettable, perfect. But what if the bride disappears and her best friend walks down the aisle instead, wearing her dress, marrying her fiancé, and pretending nothing is wrong? That's what happened to me. One moment, I was her maid of honor. The next, I was standing in her place, holding the hand of the man she loved, with his secret burning in my pocket. Everyone thinks it was a dream wedding. But no one knows the truth. This is the story of how I married my best friend's fiancé on a cruise, and why I wish I never had. I've always been the side character in other people's love stories, and I don't mean that in a sad way. It's just, I'm the quiet one to the listener, the observer, the one in the background while someone else takes center stage. Hannah, my best friend since we were 10, was the opposite. She had this light about her. She walked into rooms like she owned them, smiled like she knew everyone already adored her. She was fearless, magnetic, the kind of person who made life feel like a movie. I loved her like a sister, when she called me up one night, squealing with excitement, telling me she was getting married. I felt this bittersweet mix of joy and something else I didn't want to name. Her fiancé? His name was Adrian. The first time I met him, he extended his hand and said, "So, you're the Eliza." Like he already knew me. Like I was part of some inside joke he wasn't letting me in on. He was handsome in a clean, magazine cover way. Confident. Cold, maybe. Too perfect, I thought. But Hannah was in love. And I supported her with everything I had. "We're getting married on a cruise," she said. "Just family. A few close friends. Private, intimate, magical. And you," she added, "are my maid of honor. Obviously." So I said yes. Of course I did. I would have followed her to the ends of the earth. The cruise ship was stunning, sleek, modern, like a floating palace. We boarded 2 days before the ceremony. Hannah was radiant. Adrian, composed as always, I felt like a bridesmaid in someone else's dream. But that night at dinner, something felt off. Hannah pulled me aside while everyone else was laughing and sipping champagne. Her eyes were tired. Her voice low. "Promise me something," she said. "If anything happens to me, don't ask questions. Just do what I ask." I laughed. "Are you okay?" "What does that even mean?" She squeezed my hand tight. "Swear it, Eliza. On our friendship." And so, half laughing, half worried, I swore. Did I wish I hadn't? The next morning was the wedding day. Did I knocked on her suite door? No answer. Did I tried again? Still nothing. When the ship's concierge opened it with a master key, I felt my stomach drop. Her dress was still hanging, her bouquet fresh, her shoes neatly placed beside the bed. Her phone was gone. But her luggage was untouched. She was gone. We searched everywhere. The spa, the gym, the top deck. The crew checked her keycard activity. Nothing since the night before. The ship's captain paused our departure from the port just in case she'd snuck off. And oh luck, Adrian, he was eerily calm. Too calm. Like he expected this. The guests were still mingling, sipping drinks under the sun, thinking maybe the bride was just running late, but I knew something was wrong. Deep down, I knew she wasn't coming back. That's when Adrian knocked on my cabin door. He wasn't panicked. He wasn't angry. He looked resigned. He held something in his hand. "This is for you," he said quietly. It was a letter. Folded twice. Her handwriting, MY name on the front. I opened it with trembling fingers. "Eliza, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. I'm safe, but I can't explain yet. Just trust me. I need you to do something. Something only you can do. I need you to marry Adrian. Today. Wear the dress. Say yes. I'll explain everything later, you promised. You swore, don't let them ask questions. Just smile. Just walk down the aisle, please. I'm begging you to, Hannah. I stared at the paper like it would suddenly rewrite itself. This had to be a joke, a twisted prank, right? But Adrian was looking at me like he already knew what I'd do. The guests still think everything's fine, he said. The ceremony starts in an hour. I wanted to scream, to run, to rip the note in half and throw it overboard, but I didn't. I opened the garment bag. Her dress was inside. It fit perfectly. They decorated the top deck with roses and candles. The sun was setting. The sky turned gold and lavender. Guests stood. Music played. Cameras flashed. And I walked, wearing her gown, wearing her ring, looking into the eyes of the man she was supposed to marry, and no one, not a single soul, knew the truth. Not that the bride was missing, not that I was pretending, not that I was holding in a scream so loud it echoed inside my chest. I said, I do. I kissed him, and in that moment, I felt like I had stolen someone else's life. The morning after the wedding felt like waking up in someone else's bed, because it was. The sunlight streamed into the honeymoon suite. The one that wasn't meant for me. I lay beside Adrian, wide awake, fully dressed, sitting at the edge of the bed like I might bolt at any second. He stirred beside me, then sat up calmly. "Oh, it didn't sleep," he said. "Hard to sleep when you've accidentally married your best friends." "Fiancé," I replied. He didn't smile, just stood, walked to the balcony, and looked out at the ocean like it was the only thing that made sense anymore. "She asked you to do this," he said, his voice low. "Didn't she?" I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. He nodded back, like that answer had sealed something. I kept hoping Hannah would walk in laughing, saying it was all a prank, that she'd jump into my arms and say, "I knew you'd do it for me. You're insane, and I love you." But she didn't come, not that day, not the next, not the day after. Every morning I woke up next to Adrian. Every night I felt more like I was playing a part in a story I didn't understand. And Adrian, he wasn't the cold, perfect man I thought he was. He was kind. Too kind. He brought me coffee exactly the way I liked it, without ever asking. He gave me space, but also stared at me when he thought I wasn't looking. One night, on the deck under the stars, I asked him something I hadn't dared to before. "Do you miss her?" He turned slowly, watching the waves. "I loved her," he said. Then he paused. "But I never really knew her." The cruise felt endless. Every meal, someone congratulated us. Every dance, people toasted to our future. I wore her ring, I slept in her sheets, I smiled in her place. But behind my eyes, I kept replaying her voice. "Don't ask questions. Just trust me." So I didn't ask, but one night, Adrian did. "Why did you say yes? Why did you actually go through with it?" I stared at him, and for the first time, I said the truth. "Because I thought you'd protect her. Because she trusted you. And I didn't want anyone else asking where she went." His eyes searched mine. "She was scared," he said. "The last few weeks before the wedding, she wasn't herself." "What do you mean?" "She kept saying people were watching her, that someone was following her. I thought it was just cold feet, anxiety." "And you never asked questions?" "No," he said quietly. "Because she made me promise to." That night, I checked her letter again. I stared at every word. I held it to the light. I don't know what I was looking for, some clue, some secret message hidden in the ink. But something did strike me. It was what she didn't say. She didn't say she was in danger. She didn't say she was running away. She only said, "Don't ask questions. I'll explain everything when it's over." Over, what was it? Later that night, I couldn't sleep. I wandered the ship alone, my bare feet cold on the deck, the moonlight silver on the water. That's when I saw him, a man in a gray suit, standing at the railing, watching the ocean. I'd never seen him before, not one of the guests, and as I walked past, he turned and looked at me. "You're not the bride," he said. I froze. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" He smiled, thin, unsettling. "She said you might be the one wearing the dress." Before I could respond, he walked away, and no name. No explanation. I stood there, heart racing, and suddenly it hit me. Hannah knew something bigger than all of us. The next day, I told Adrian about the man. He didn't flinch. He didn't even seem surprised. "He's been on the ship since day one," he said. "She mentioned him once. Said he made her nervous." "And you didn't do anything?" "I tried. But by the time I confronted him, she was gone." Something clicked in my brain like glass cracking under pressure. What if Hannah hadn't vanished? What if she had escaped? Later that night, the ship held a masquerade ball. The ballroom glittered with gold masks and floating candles, music echoing off marble floors. I wore one of Hannah's gowns and I danced with Adrian. And for a moment, I forgot everything. But only for a moment, because halfway through the dance, I felt someone watching me. I turned. Through the crowd, I saw her, Hannah, standing at the top of the staircase, wearing black.
No mask.
Eyes locked on mine. She was alive, but she didn't smile. She didn't wave. She just turned and disappeared behind the curtain. I ran. Through the crowd, past the violinists, the candlelit tables, the champagne flutes, up the staircase where I saw her. But when I pulled the curtain back, she was gone, and oh trace.
No footprints.
No sound, just the eerie sway of the ship and my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. "Hannah," I whispered, desperate. "Please say something. Where are you?" Nothing, but I knew what I saw. Did I know what I saw? She was alive. Adrian found me an hour later, barefoot and breathless on the observation deck. "What happened?" he asked. "I saw her," I said. "She was here." His face went pale. "That's not possible."
Why?
I snapped. "Because you already buried her in your mind?" He looked me dead in the eyes. "Because she told me not to look for her." That silenced me. "She sent me a letter too," Adrian added. "The day she disappeared. Told me to go through with the wedding. That she trusted you. That she had to leave."
Why? "I don't know," he said, then paused.
"But I think she was trying to protect us." That night, I couldn't sleep again. I stared out at the endless dark sea. The stars mirrored in the waves. I thought about every moment Hannah and I had shared since we were kids, and I realized something. She had never run from anything in her life. Whatever she was running from now. It had to be huge. Then I remembered the man in the gray suit. "She said you might be the one wearing the dress." How would he know that? Unless he knew her plan all along. Unless he was part of it. The next morning, I found him again. He was sitting alone in the ship's library, reading a book. Like none of this was strange. I sat across from him. "Where is she?" I asked. He looked up slowly. "She told you not to ask questions." "I'm done listening." He closed the book. "You want the truth?" he said.
Fine.
"She's not who you think she is. Neither is Adrian." I frowned. "What are you talking about? You think this was about love? A wedding? A friendship?"
No.
This was a transfer. A cover. A what? Hannah uncovered something she wasn't supposed to. About Adrian's family. Their company. The people behind the cruise line. I stared, stunned. A year ago, she found out someone on this ship was laundering money. And not just money. Something darker. She went to the authorities. But then people started watching her. Following her. She knew if she disappeared, questions would come. So she asked you to step in. To make it look clean. She trusted you not to dig. Long enough for her to vanish. I sat back, dizzy. So she used me? No, he said softly. She trusted you. That night, I finally cried, not because I felt used, but because I understood what she'd done. She knew if she vanished, people would chase her. But if the world believed she got married, if people saw me smiling in her dress, no one would look too close. She'd passed her life to me like a baton, a temporary swap, a cover. She did it to survive. And the man in the gray suit, he was ex-military, a ghost. Now working for a silent branch of international fraud investigators, he'd been helping her from the shadows. She wasn't just hiding from a broken heart. She was hiding from people who wanted her gone. On the final night of the cruise, I found a note under my pillow. No name. No return address. Just my name and one sentence. Thank you for keeping me alive. I pressed it to my chest and cried again when we disembarked. Adrian and I didn't speak. There was nothing left to say. We weren't really married. Not in any way that counted. We walked away in silence from a wedding that never should have happened and a woman who was still out there free, safe, because I said I do. It's been 6 months since that cruise. No one's seen Hannah, and I'm not sure they ever will. Sometimes, when I hear the ocean, I think of her. I wonder if she's still looking over her shoulder, still running, or maybe finally living that I don't regret it. Not a single second, because when your best friend asks you to marry her fiancé to save her life, you don't ask why. You just walk down the aisle and pray you don't fall in love in the process.